join in. So I'm going to leave you on loud so that you can shout at me if you want to. There's my little mat. So we'll just start with a quick warm-up. Because we've got quite a few sun salutations to get through. So if you just come to the centre of your mat, and we'll just begin by rolling the wrists out and round. So the idea with this is that we're going to do, today we're just going to work through the opening sequence, and then you can either churn them, and then we'll just do an ankle as well at the same time. This will be on our hands and knees. Oh, we've got someone joining. Michelle! Yeah, so today we're going to do, and then switch feet, the opening sequence. So that is 5 rounds of Surya Namaskara A, which is sun salutations, and then we're going to go through Surya Namaskara B. So then inhale to lift one arm up, exhale, reach all the way over to the opposite side. Inhale back to center, switching over the arms, exhale to reach over the other side. We're going to do 5 of these each side. So there's 5 rounds of each. Surya Namaskara B will probably take a little bit longer because there's warriors in it. And then we're going to have a bit of fun with the closing sequence. So there's 2 variations. I think you girls will be all right with the full version. We'll give it a go, and it will give us some movements to work towards. And then this time we're going to reach out wide with our hands and just wrap them around the body as you twist to look behind. We'll go for 5 or 6 rotations each side. So I've just been practicing the Chakrasana, I think you could call it, transition, which is like a backwards rolling transition, which I think Michelle's probably going to nail. And then just come back to center. Inhale to lift up high, reaching tall, and then exhale as you come all the way down into your Uttanasana forward fold. Bend at the knees for this first one. Think about drawing your chest over your thighs, so nipples to knees, crown of the head towards the floor, and then take opposite hand to opposite elbow, and just take ragdoll variations, swinging from side to side, or you can bounce up and down, whatever your body feels like it would like in this moment. So yeah, we'll spend some more time on this session for the closing sequence so you get to grips with all the postures. And then next week we'll start on the standing movements. If you just take your hands to the front of the mat and then step your feet back and come into down facing dog, we're just going to pedal out the heels. So we're opening the calves, the hips, the hamstrings, the ankles and the feet. And then we'll just take one vinyasa. So inhale, roll forwards to high plank. Exhale, low plank or knees, chest, chin. Inhale, press up to cobra, and just spend a moment there drawing a figure of 8 with your hips as you open up the front body. Roll those shoulders back and down. Think about a nice long, lengthy spine. Squeeze the glutes, squeeze the inner thighs, activate the legs. And then as we exhale, we're going to sit back in extended child's pose, reaching forwards with those arms, and just take a few deep breaths, inhaling so that the upper back expands and you can feel that space created between the shoulder blades. Just take 2 more deep breaths. I'm just going to check that I turned the mic on the other bit of the camera, because that wouldn't be very good. Oh, I did. That's good. Suddenly thought. And then just slowly make your way all the way up to standing, and we'll begin with our opening sequence. So standing at the front of your mat in Tadasana. I'll show you both options, although I think you girls will both be all right, but I'll show you for the benefit for anyone else who hasn't made it yet. So come to the front of the mat, standing in Tadasana, lift the toes, spread them, press the feet firmly into the ground. Think about engaging through your legs, so you're really pressing into that ground, tucking the tailbone under, sucking the navel back towards the spine, rolling the shoulders back and down, and lengthening through the crown of the head so you have a nice long, lengthy spine. We're going to inhale to come all the way up into extended Tadasana, and as we exhale, we're going to keep that length hinging at the hips all the way down into Uttanasana forward fold. So again, think about chest to thigh, crown of the head towards the floor. If you need to bend the knees just slightly to get that nice long back rather than crouching over, please do. From here, we're going to take the hands on top of the feet and come to a halfway lift. So we're going to inhale to halfway lift, squeeze the shoulder blades back together, see if you can find that flat back position, and then exhale as you come down to the floor. So option here is to jump straight back to plank, or you can step with both feet into the plank position, and then exhale to come all the way down to low plank, and then inhale to come up to cobra. If you need to, you can always place the knees on the floor to do that low plank, and then with cobra, if that's too much for people with lower back issues, Sphinx is also an option. So from here, we're just going to exhale as we tuck the toes and press back to down facing dog, and then option to step or hop back into that Uttanasana forward fold and come into a halfway lift as you inhale. Exhale to fold all the way back down into Uttanasana forward fold, and then inhale to come all the way back up to extended Tadasana. That is one round. We're going to do 4 more. So exhale as you hinge at the hips, coming all the way down into Uttanasana forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold back down into that forward fold. Plant the hands on the floor and then step or hop back to plank. Exhale, low plank or knees, chest, chin. Inhale, press up to cobra. Exhale, tuck the toes, press back to down facing dog. And then when you're ready, inhale to step or hop to the front of the mat. Exhale, fold forwards. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, Uttanasana forward fold. And then inhale, come all the way up, extended Tadasana, reaching up tall. Exhale into round 3, Uttanasana forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forwards. Inhale, catch in plank. Exhale, low plank or knees, chest, chin. Inhale, press up to cobra. Exhale, tuck the toes and press back to down facing dog. Inhale, look forwards, bend the knees. Exhale, Uttanasana forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold down. Inhale, as you come all the way up, extended Tadasana. Exhale as you come all the way back down, Uttanasana forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, Uttanasana forward fold. Inhale, catch in plank. Exhale, low plank or knees, chest, chin. Inhale, press up to cobra. Exhale, tuck the toes and press back to down facing dog. Inhale, bend the knees, look forwards. Exhale, catch in Uttanasana forward fold. Inhale, come halfway lift, sorry. Exhale, Uttanasana forward fold. Inhale, come all the way up, extended Tadasana. Exhale as we come back down for our 5th and final round of this variation, Uttanasana forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forwards. Plant the hands, inhale, catch in plank. Exhale, low plank or knees, chest, chin. Inhale, press up to cobra. Exhale, tuck the toes and press back to down facing dog. Inhale, look forward, bend the knees. Exhale, Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, come all the way up, extended Tadasana. Exhale, release. So that is Surya Namaskara A. So that's one variation. We're moving on to a slightly more advanced sun salutation sequence, but it's still suitable for beginners. So coming to the front of the mat again, setting yourself up in that traditional Tadasana pose. We're going to inhale to lift our hands all the way up above our heads, finding that length in our spine. And as we exhale, we're going to sit back into chair. So in chair pose, think about engaging your core, so tucking that tailbone under, drawing the ribs down to your pelvis, rolling those shoulders back and down and bracing that core. Take a nice deep breath in. And then as you exhale, swan dive down all the way into your Uttanasana forward fold. Inhale to come to your halfway lift again. And then exhale as you step or hop back straight into Chaturanga. So option 1, to step to plank and then come down into that low plank, knees, chest, chin option if you need to, and then up to cobra. Or option 2, hop back to plank, come straight down, flip the toes and come up to up dog. So whichever variation you want. Then we're going to exhale as we tuck the toes, press back to down facing dog. And then on the next inhale, you're going to swing the right leg through, coming into your warrior 1 on the right side. So back foot goes down at a 45-degree angle. Inhale to lift the hands up, pressing through that front leg, squeezing the glutes. Make sure you have a nice vertical body. Shoulders are rolled back and down away from your ears. Hips are square to the front of the mat. Exhale, come all the way back down, step back to down facing dog. And then we're going to do warrior two on the other side. So inhale as you step that left foot forwards, warrior two on the left side, finding that back foot at a 45-degree angle, inhaling to lift all the way up. Take a nice deep breath in and then exhale, come all the way back down. Hands frame the foot, step back, and we're taking that chaturanga again. So exhale, low plank, flip the toes. Inhale, press up to cobra or up dog, yogi's choice, and then exhale, tuck the toes, press back to down facing dog. From here, you're going to hop forwards to that Uttanasana halfway lift. So inhale to look forwards, then the knees, exhale, catch in Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold all the way back down into Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, come all the way up to chair. So don't come straight up to standing. As you come up, bend the knees and find that chair position, keeping that tailbone tucked under. And then inhale to come all the way up, extended Tadasana. Exhale, release the hands. So it's a little bit more complicated than the last one. You're probably feeling pretty hot. Actually, I might open a door in here. But if you get stuck at any point, just shout at me and I can check you out on camera and see what you're doing wrong and help you through it. So just let me know. So we're going to do 4 more rounds of that and then we'll start working towards the finishing sequence and going through the different poses. Some of them are quite advanced, some of them we've got beginner variations if we need to. So coming back to that Tadasana position, we're going to inhale, hands go up above the head, exhale, sit back into chair, squeeze those glutes, squeeze those inner thighs, keep that tailbone tucked under. Exhale, hinge at the hips, come down into your Uttanasana forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, option to step or hop or come straight through your chaturanga and up to up dog. So everyone meet in up dog or cobra. And then exhale, tuck the toes, press back to down facing dog. Inhale, right foot comes through the hands, back foot goes down, warrior one. Exhale, fold back down, switch over and down facing dog. And then inhale as you step the left foot through, back foot goes down. Inhale, warrior one on the left side. Exhale, release. Step back to down facing dog. And we're back to that chaturanga. So inhale as you roll forwards, low plank, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, bend the knees, look forwards, hop, catch. And then inhale to come all the way up to your halfway lift. Exhale, fold forwards, and then inhale to chair. So remember, you're not lifting the hips, you're keeping that tailbone tucked under and you're sitting low. Inhale to come up, exhale to release. Round 2 done, 3 more to go. So we're going to inhale again, extended Tadasana, exhale, sit back chair. Inhale to take 1 breath in and then exhale, fold all the way down into your Uttanasana forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands to the floor, chaturanga. Everyone meet in up dog or cobra. Exhale, tuck the toes and press back to down facing dog. Inhale, right foot through, warrior one on the right side. Exhale, release the hands, step back to down facing dog. Inhale, left foot through, warrior two on the left side. Exhale, release the hands and step back to down facing dog. Inhale, roll forwards. Exhale, low plank or chaturanga, straight up to up dog or cobra. Exhale, tuck the toes and press back to down facing dog. Inhale, look forwards, bend the knees. Exhale, catch in Uttanasana forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forwards. And then inhale up to chair. Exhale as you lift up and release the arms, and we're coming into our second to last round. So inhale to lift the arms back up above the head, extended Tadasana. Exhale, sit back into chair. Take a nice deep breath in. Exhale, fold all the way down into Uttanasana forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forwards. Plant the hands, and then we're back into that chaturanga sequence. So step or hop, low plank, up dog or cobra. Exhale, tuck the toes, press back to down facing dog. Inhale, step the right foot through, coming into warrior one on the right side. Inhale as you lift up, squeeze those inner thighs, press through all those feet. And then exhale, release the hands, step back to down facing dog. Inhale, left foot comes through, back foot goes down. Warrior one on the right, on the left side. Exhale, release the hands to the floor, step back to down facing dog, and we'll take that chaturanga. So inhale, roll forwards, exhale, low plank or full chaturanga, up to up dog or cobra. Tuck the toes, exhale, push back to down facing dog. Inhale, bend the knees, look forwards, hop, Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forwards. And then inhale as you come all the way up into chair, sitting back down. Inhale to lift up to extended Tadasana. Exhale, release the hands. We're coming into the fourth round. So inhale, extended Tadasana. Exhale, sit back into chair. Take a nice deep breath in. Exhale, fold forwards into Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forwards, hands to the floor, and then we're going into that chaturanga. So step or hop back to plank. Exhale, low plank. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Exhale, tuck the toes and press back to down facing dog. Inhale, right foot comes through, back foot goes down. Warrior one, right side. Exhale, release the hands, step back to down facing dog. Inhale, as you take the left foot comes through, back foot goes down, lift up into warrior one on the left side. Exhale, release. Plant the hands, step back to your plank or down facing dog, and then we're coming through that chaturanga again, wherever you're at. Meeting an up dog or cobra. Exhale, tuck the toes and press back to down facing dog. Inhale, bend the knees, look forwards, hop. Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, all the way up into chair pose. Sorry, not all the way up. And then inhale to lift all the way up. Exhale, release the arms. So we're on the fifth and final round. So coming to the front of the mat. Inhale as you come all the way up into extended Tadasana. Exhale, sit back into chair pose. Take a nice deep breath in. Exhale, fold forwards into Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forwards, hands to floor and step or hop back to your chaturanga. As you inhale, come all the way up into up dog or cobra. Exhale, tuck the toes and press back to down facing dog. Inhale, right foot forwards, back foot down, warrior one. Exhale, release the hands, step back to down facing dog. And then inhale as you step the left foot forwards, back foot down, warrior one on the other side. Exhale, release the hands, step back to down facing dog, and we're back to that chaturanga. So inhale, roll forwards to high plank. Exhale, low plank or knees, chest, chin. Flip the toes, come all the way up into up dog or cobra. Exhale, tuck the toes and press back to down facing dog. Bending at the knees, look forwards, hop to Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forwards. And then inhale as you come all the way up, extended Tadasana. Exhale, sit back into your chair pose. Inhale to lift. Exhale, release the hands, and you should be feeling pretty warm. I'm just going to check that Wendy didn't say, she was keen to join, sorry. Just catch your breath, grab some water. I just have this awful feeling she might have the wrong password or something. Sorry.
I did try the other one first, Harriet.
Yeah.
The email different to the one in your Facebook group.
So yeah. I think what the problem is I hadn't realised that Zoom only has one password for one account. So yeah, so it's not the best thing, because I wanted to have this as Ashtanga as per the email, but yeah, I just suddenly thought, oh God, I hope she hasn't got the wrong password, but she can catch up on the recording hopefully in a bit, if she can't log on. But yeah, it's annoying, it's frustrating, because it should work. Okay, so normally at this point we would then go through a standing sequence, and so you've got your workbooks. You can have a look at those if you want to. I thought today we'd just focus on the finishing sequence, just because there's a number of postures in there that are maybe a bit more advanced, and then we can go through the chakra, I don't know how to say it, Chakrasana sequence, which is like a backwards rolling wheel. You've all probably done the vinyasa a few times, so that's not too bad. So the finishing sequence is what we close the session with. And you can do just a bound ankle, a seated bound ankle pose if you prefer, if you were practicing this at home, or you can go through this full kind of sequence that might take up to about 20 minutes or so, they reckon. So the first one of the sequence is wheel pose. So option to do wheel or bridge here. What we'll do, because we haven't done many back bends, we'll come into puppy pose just to warm up our backs. So if you come sit back at the back of your mat in a kneeling position, reach the hands forwards, and then think about bringing the forehead to the floor and then scooping yourself along the floor until your chest comes through. So eye gaze comes forwards to the front of the mat, and you're bringing your chest all the way to the floor, stacking your hips above your knees. So don't go too far past your knees. And just take 10 or so deep breaths. So you should feel this completely in your thoracic spine and your upper back. You shouldn't really feel anything at all in your lower back. If you can feel this in your lower back, then the problem is you've probably gone too far. So just push yourself back. You can even grab a hold of the end of the mat and use that to push you back into your legs. Just take a few more deep breaths here. One more deep breath all the way in. Exhale. And then slowly come all the way up onto your hands and knees. From here, we're just going to take a half camel. So from this kneeling position, you're going to reach, step forwards with your left foot. So you're in like a kneeling lunge. And then you're going to take your right hand up and back, take it to the heel, and then reach up with your left and just go as far as you want to go. Just think about using so lifting from your heart, so you're lifting from the upper back first, so your lower back's not crushed, and using that front leg to kind of push into the ground to lift and lengthen and help you go back further. Take 3 deep breaths once you've got to the position, and then when you've done your 3 deep breaths, you can just slowly come back to a kneeling position. And then inhale to come all the way up, and we'll switch sides. So switching over, left knee goes down, right leg comes forwards, finding that low lunge stance, and then you're going to inhale to lift and reach with your right hand up, left hand goes to the heel, and then think about lifting from the heart. So you really want to lift up from the top of your spine rather than your lower back, and then exhaling to come back, shooting that hip forward. So with this hip, if you sink too low, you haven't got the room to go forward. So you need to push into the ground to lift up, create that space, and then push back to go forward. So that's how you get deeper in your back bends. There's a bit of strength to it rather than flexing. Take 3 deep breaths again. And then when you're ready, inhale to come all the way up, come back to that kneeling position, and we'll come all the way down to the floor. So we're coming into wheel pose. So option here to do bridge if you want to. So you can simply just coming onto your back. You're just going to bring your heels in towards your bum, feet flat against the floor. Lift your hips up, shuffle your shoulders underneath, clasp the hands together or grab the ankles, yogi's choice. And think about just lifting all the way through that pelvis, really pushing the floor away with the legs and creating as big a gap as possible. So if that's your preferred option, you're going to be there for 5 breaths. If you want to take a moment in bridge, you can, and then go into wheel, you can also. So we've got this session to kind of play with the poses, I guess. So with wheel, you've got 2 options to get into it. You can stay at option 1, and option 2 is obviously the progression to the full pose. So coming back on your back again, feet are flat on the floor underneath your bum, fingertips, so hands go above the shoulders, fingertips pointing down towards your shoulders, palms flat on the floor, and you're going to inhale to lift and come onto the crown of your head. So you're halfway there at this point. If you feel like you want to stay here, you can. If you want to go further, press the ground away and lift up into that full wheel pose. So you're just going to stay here for 5 or so breaths, or whichever variation you're at. Again, think about squeezing the glutes, using the legs as well as the shoulders to lift you and take some of the pressure out of the back. And then when you've done your 5 breaths, just come all the way back down as you exhale the way you came in, so head, and then tuck the head under and come back onto your back. From here, you're then going to come up into a seated position, and we're going to come into our forward fold. So take the feet straight out in front of you. With forward fold, think about connecting your sit bones to the floor. So if you need to, pull the fleshy bits of your bum out from underneath your sit bones. Flex the toes back towards you. Inhale as you lift and lengthen. Think about creating that space within your spine and length within your spine. And then as you exhale, fold forwards. Think about folding that chest over the thighs, bringing the nipples towards the knees, nose towards the toes, and then coming all the way down, however far you can go. Just try not to hunch in the upper back. Try and think about keeping that lower back flat against the thighs and reaching forwards that way and coming all the way down. We're going to be here for about 10 breaths. So you can use that breath if you want to make it more dynamic, inhaling to just lift out slightly, releasing the tension, and then exhaling to fold. And you'll probably find you'll release more tension and tightness that way. You're probably just coming up to halfway now. So a few more deep breaths. See if you can get a little lower with every exhale and a little further with every inhale. Last deep breath all the way in. Exhale. Fold as deep as you can go for the last time. Hold for 3, 2, 1, and then inhale as you come all the way up. So from here, we're then going to go into shoulder stand. So we're going to come onto our backs, and you're going to think about coming up underneath your bum with your hips. So we're going to lift the feet off the floor, take the hands underneath the pelvis or at the back of the pelvic girdle, shuffle the shoulders underneath, send the feet up high and find that balance on your shoulder stand. So if you want to play around here, you can, and just get used to the pose. For those of you that have never done this before, for those of you who are comfortable, think about your neck position. You should be able to breathe and talk perfectly. You shouldn't feel any crunching in the neck at all, or squeezing of the throat. And you're here for 25 breaths apparently. So really think about engaging that core, squeezing the glutes, finding that nice vertical upright position. Whenever you've had enough of it, just feel free to come down. You can go back up for a few more breaths if you want to. It's quite a long time. Keep working on your position, your alignment. See if you can find more length in the neck. See if you can shuffle those hands underneath more. See if you can find more vertical length up towards the ceiling. We're probably over halfway now. You've done those 25 breaths, you can come all the way back down if you want, and I'll demonstrate the next couple of poses for you, just because we're going to be on our upside down, so you won't be able to see. So we're going to go back into that shoulder stand, but this time we're going to take it all the way over to plow. So plow, the legs go behind. It looks quite complicated, but if you're a beginner, don't be scared of it. Most people manage it, it's absolutely fine. It just looks a bit daunting. So you're going to come back up into that shoulder stand position, and this time send the legs all the way over the head. So you're finding that nice stacked position again with the throat and the neck being nice and released, sending the hips above the shoulders and the feet come onto the floor behind you. If your feet don't touch the floor, that's absolutely fine. Just let them hang there, let gravity do the work. You're going to be here for 10 or so breaths. With the hands, you can just let them come down behind you, or you can hold your hips if you prefer. So wherever you're at, set yourself up. I'm going to watch you into this. Nice. So you're there for 10 or so breaths. And then when you've taken those 10 or so breaths, just come back down and I'll show you the next posture. So we're staying in that plow position, but we're taking the knees above our head and down by our ears. So we're coming back into that plow and then bringing the knees, if you can, either side of your ears and relaxing like this, apparently, for another 10 or so breaths. So you'll probably find this will help your spinal mobility immensely. It is called Plow Knees to Ears. It's very inventive. I'm sure there's a nice Sanskrit name for it. In fact, I can tell you what it is. I can't even remember. It's Karma Dandasana, and it's for 8 breaths, this one. So knees by your ears if you can. So think about really curling that body into a ball, finding that space in your neck, shuffling your shoulders around. So this is going to be really helpful for the wheel transition that we're eventually going to work in towards next. And then when you're taking your 8 or so breaths, we're going to come all the way back up. So well done. So there's a few other poses that you would do in that plow pose, but I don't think we're going to get into them today because it requires ankle mobility. So what I thought instead, we can practice the poses upright and try and get that ankle mobility going. So basically, in plow pose, the next pose would be an upward lotus. So lotus pose is the one with the legs where you cross the feet over, so you're bringing the hip, one foot in towards the hip and then you're crossing the other one over. So my ankles are really bad and I'm not going to be able to do that, but somehow you get that. So if you've got, so you girls look like you've just gone straight into it. Well done. So I was going to say we could do 1 foot crossed, find that flexibility in the ankle first, and then just take maybe 5 or so breaths in this upright position. And then do the other foot, and then we can do, but if you want to do it all with both feet, if you're comfortable there, you're more than welcome to. I'm surprised your ankles do that, Nat. Oh no, it's your calf, wasn't it? Yeah. So just take a few breaths there, and then when you're done, 5 or so breaths on one side, switch sides, switching the ankles around. Finding that flexibility in the foot. I need to do more of this, clearly. I think it's my IT, is it the IT band that goes down into the ankle? I have no idea. And then when you've had a few breaths on both sides, we're going to go for the full pose if you can. I don't think I'm going to get there today. If this isn't an option for anyone that's watching this at home, you can always come into bound ankle pose, or you can just sit cross-legged and find that position until you can find the flexibility. So I'm going to try, I can't do it that way, so I'm going to try the other way around, putting the other foot on top first. Some days I can do this and some days I can't. No, there's no way. So I'm just going to take 5 or so breaths here, opening up my ankles. And then we'll come into fish pose, and then I'll teach you this rolling wheel. So once you've done both of those, we can just rotate out the ankles. They feel pretty stiff and horrible. I'm going to practice that for next week. And then fish pose, you could do in that lotus position if you're comfortable there, or just come into a seated cross-leg position. And we're going to come back, or just have your legs out in front of you, however you feel. So I'll show you option 1 with the legs out in front of you. You're just simply going to come up onto the crown of your head and lift your chest towards the ceiling. With the hands, you can place them on your chest or by your sides, wherever you're comfortable. If you want to cross your legs and do it this way, you can. So wherever you're comfortable, whether it's in the lotus, cross leg, or straight leg, you can. Just 8 breaths. Reaching that heart towards the ceiling. And then when you've done those 8 breaths, you're going to bring the hands, palms together and lift. I don't know if I can do that actually. Lift the feet up into an extended lotus, extended fish, sorry. And hold for 5 breaths. And then when you've done that, just slowly relax and come back down. Maybe just hug your knees in towards your chest. Shake it all off.
Ooh.
Lovely. So the next bit is a transition between this bit and the next bit. And it's called the rolling wheel. So I've only just started practicing it this week. You're going to come through that plow position and end back. So you're going to start here and end in your chaturanga position, basically. So we'll begin with a few I think this is going to be a progressive thing for all of us over the weeks. So you're literally going to start lying down, you're going to roll the feet up, find that plow position, tuck your toes under and stack your shoulders, and then you're going to rock yourself into it. You're going to bend your knees as you do this to soften the landing, taking the hands either side of your head, get yourself nice and lifted, and then when you're ready, you're going to 1, 2, 3, come forwards, and then take your chaturanga. So it's taken me quite a few attempts to try that. So just try that bit for now, and then we'll worry about getting into the down dog afterwards. So I'll watch you girls through it and help you. So you're coming into that plow position. You really want to over-accentuate stacking your hips above your shoulders and really tucking that head under. You're then going to use your hands by your ears to help lift your shoulders and head off the ground so you have that space to roll over. And use your feet as well to lift the body up and over. So it's quite a slow, gentle movement. That's it. Nice. Yay. So I'm going to share a video with you after this so you can see the full thing when it's done properly. And you can practice it throughout the week. It doesn't feel natural, it feels quite daunting, Michelle, so if you want to try it, you're more than welcome, or if you want to just leave it, we can go. It's good, it's different, isn't it? It's actually more, once you've found the right technique, it's more gentle than you think. I've smashed my knees into the floor practicing this quite a few times, where I've just been overly aggressive, and actually you just need to set yourself right in that bottom position like Matt's doing now, and lift yourself over. So the next stage would be to do it with straight legs so that you can land straight in that chaturanga position and not have to shuffle around. But it's a bit weird, it feels a bit alien, because it's nothing like you will have ever done before in yoga probably. And then once you've got it, you're like, ah, that's it, I get it. So from there, That then obviously goes into our chaturanga, up dog, and then comes into the down facing dog. The next posture here is headstand. So you're going to come into that supported headstand, set yourself up, and for those that haven't done headstands before, you can just stay in dolphin pose, which I'll demonstrate in a minute, and you're just going to come all the way up into your headstand. So you're supposed to hold this for 25 breaths, but feel free just to hold it for 10 or so today, because that's quite a long time. And then I'll show it, and then we'll come into a pike headstand variation. So give it a go. For those of you that are going to do dolphin at home, you're going to take your forearms to the floor, hands to the floor, tuck the toes and set yourself up in that forearm pose. If this is not enough for you, you can start to work your way towards the headstand practice, and you can start to interlace your fingers and take your hand to your head and just find that stacked position. You might want to practice by tucking one leg in and then tucking the other, and then maybe even tucking both. And this is your headstand. And then you can gradually creep your way up to that full headstand variation. So wherever you're at, just take a few final breaths and then come.
And so you said having my palms down?
Yeah, so it is a supported headstand, but you could, if you wanted to do a tripod, you could from down facing dog, because you would just bring your forehead to the floor rather than come into that clasped hand position. So then the next one after that is a staff pose headstand. We call it upward staff pose, but it's just a pike headstand. So you're coming into that headstand again, but instead of going all the way up, you're holding here for 10 or so breaths. If you're at home doing this, you can just come to a pike with your toes on the floor if you're not comfortable in headstand, or if you would rather do both of these on the floor seated and not go upside down at all, you can come to a seated position with your legs straight out. Think about lifting yourself up nice and tall, flexing those toes and staying in this position for 10 or so breaths. You'd be quite surprised how hard just sitting like this is. So wherever you're at, and then when you've done those, take the legs all the way back up to a full headstand for another 5 or so breaths. Sorry, yeah, it's a lot of work, isn't it? And this is the finishing sequence. So if you want to go straight from that pike staff position and take the legs all the way up, you can. And just hold. Remember, in headstand, squeeze the inner thighs, squeeze the glutes, point the toes, find that nice position, bring the heels back in line with the head. And then when you're ready, just slowly lower yourself all the way down to the floor and sit back in extended child's pose. Take 10 breaths here in child's, and then we're on the home straight, guys. So just a few more poses, and then you can have a nice savasana at the end. So when you're taking your 10 breaths, we're just going to take a vinyasa all the way through. So come up onto your hands and knees, step back into your plank position. Exhale, low plank. Inhale, press up to cobra. And then exhale as you tuck your toes and press back to down facing dog. From here, we're going to come into our seated position. So you're going to press into the ground with your hands. Eventually, you might just scoop your feet all the way through and come to seated. Or you can hop, come to a crouch, and then sit in your staff position. So eventually, if you want to go all the way through, you can, but it takes quite a lot of strength and coordination to do. So then the final one is a bound lotus pose. So again, option to do feet, soles of the feet together in bound ankle pose, option to do crisscross legs, or come into your lotus position. And with the hands, you're just going to take them both behind your back and clasp the elbows. So just wrap the hands around. So I'll just turn So you're just literally going to bind the hands behind, and then you're going to fold forwards over the legs. So the idea is, with the bound hands, you just grab wherever you want really. It's just to close the circuit of the body. And you're just taking 10 breaths in this folded position. If you're in half locust like me, then feel free to take 5, switch sides, take another 5. So I'm going to switch over about now. Last few breaths all the way in, and then slowly come all the way up. From here we're just going to hold a normal lotus position again for 5 breaths. So just finding that seated position. Hands can go on the knees or they can go on the floor in front. Think about lifting up through the spine, lifting that crown of the head tall. And if you want to have a go and use this time to attempt, yay, I'm in. Oh no, I'm not. That other foot does not like it. So just have a few more deep breaths here. And then we're on to our final pose. So the last pose of the day is a lifted lotus. So if you're in that lotus position, this is going to be super easy for you because your legs should stay together. If you're not, it's going to be a little bit harder because you're going to have to squeeze your legs in. You're going to place your hands on either side of your thighs and you're going to press into the ground to lift the body off the floor. So if you want to do this with some blocks, if you've got any blocks to hand, it will make it a little bit easier for you. Or if you want to press into the ground and just hold it there, you can. So I'm going to use my blocks for this, and I'm going to lift myself up into that seated position, hold for 5 breaths, and then because I'm in half lotus, I'm going to switch over. So you're doing 10 breaths in total. If this is too much for you to lift, you can just practice some pullbacks if you want to and build that arm strength. So by pullback, I mean just take your feet straight out in front of you and bring the hips back. Maybe do 10 or so of those if you want to. And if you're switching sides, do that now. Last few breaths, and then just gently lower yourself all the way to the floor. And we're coming into our Savasana phase. So if you want to get comfortable on the mat, I'm going to take you through an active relaxation today. So option, if you don't want to stick around for Savasana, you're more than welcome to go away and get on with your day if you want to. If you want to come down into a supine position on your mat, you can get comfy. You might want your blanket, a pillow, a jumper, whatever you've got to hand to just get comfy and cozy. And just come flat on your back. Your hands can go out to the side, palms up, palms down, wherever you want to be. They can even go on your stomach if you want to. And just bring your attention to your breath. Breathing in through the nose and blowing out through the mouth. In your own time, just take 3 deep breaths all the way in. And then exhaling completely. Think about filling up from the base of the stomach first. Try to make that exhale longer than your inhale. And when you've taken those 3 deep breaths, just go back to a normal rhythm. And just think about how that breath moves within your body. Maybe follow it with your mind's eye. Follow it as it goes in through your nose, all the way down, deep into your lungs. And then watch it all the way back up and out again. And then just notice how your body moves around that breath. So how the breath moves the body. How your chest rises and falls. And just check in with yourself. Are there any areas of tightness or tension that you can feel now we're at the end of your practice? And could you release those with your breath? moment, I want you to take a deep inhale as you send that breath in towards your face. And as you take that inhale, I want you to crunch every muscle up in your face. So crunch your eyes, clench your lips, clench your teeth. Suck your cheeks in. Make everything tense. And then as you exhale, relax every muscle. Let your eyes feel heavy in their sockets. Let your cheeks melt back down towards your ears. Let your jaws soften. Just release any tension that you're holding there. And keep following that breath as it travels down the neck and into the shoulders and the upper back and the chest. Just notice how you feel in that area. And as you take another deep breath all the way in, clench your shoulders up tight towards your ears. And as you exhale, relax. Allow your shoulders to melt back down deeper into the floor below. Maybe you notice more space between your shoulder blades. Maybe you notice more length in your neck. And keep an eye on that breath now as it trickles down your arms and into your hands and your fingers. And just notice how they feel in this moment. And as you take another deep breath all the way in, clench your hands up into tight little balls. And as you exhale, release. Allow your hands to fall open by your sides. Allow your arms to feel long and heavy. And just release any tension from that area that you might be holding on to. And keep following that breath now as it travels back up the arms and down deeper into the body, into the hips and the glutes and the thighs. And as you take another deep inhale, clench every muscle up in that area as tight as you can. And as you exhale, release. Maybe the small of your back now sinks deeper into the ground below. Maybe you can feel your hips fall open and relax a little bit more. And then finally that breath will travel down the legs and into the ankles and the feet and the toes. Just notice how they feel, maybe give them a little wiggle. And then as you take another deep inhale, clench your toes and extend your legs. Tense everything up in that area. And as you exhale, release. Allow your feet to fall open. Allow your legs to feel long and heavy. And just notice again, maybe check in with yourself once more, how you're feeling from head to toe. Give yourself a little scan over. Do you feel any tightness or tension that you could release with one last deep breath? As you take one last deep breath all the way in, clench everything up as tight as you possibly can. And as you exhale, release. Allow everything to sink deeper into the mat. And just for a few more moments, enjoy the stillness, keeping your attention on your breath, ignoring any thoughts or noise of the mind. And if you find your mind drifts off, just gently catch it and bring it back, following the flow of your breath. Just a few more breaths. We'll finish with just 3 more deep breaths as we slowly begin to wake the body up. And as you take those 3 deep breaths, just notice the noises around you. Maybe wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. Slowly start to wake the body back up. And then when you've taken those 3 deep breaths, just gently bring the knees in towards your chest, hug them with both arms. Maybe you want to have a stretch as well. Rock from side to side, do whatever your body needs just to wake you up in this moment. And then when you're ready, just slowly roll all the way over onto the right side of your body and gently come to seated. And we'll finish the practice with one last deep inhale as we reach up tall, palms together above the head. And as we exhale to the forehead, kind thoughts. To the lips, kind words. To the heart, kind feelings. Namaste.